and set me free. Come and set me free. Come and set me free, 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 free. Come and set me free. Give me all I need.
54 racing prizes are brought to you by Southern Cross Alliance, Frontier Consolidated, The Red Legion, Sire Imperium, and Cloud Imperium Games. IDMA Crux prizes include first place C2 Hercules, second place F7CM Heartseekers, and third place Cutter Ramblers. AX2 prizes are first place SRVs, second place Heralds, and third place Hoverquads. AX3 prizes are first place Mercury Star Runners, second place Heralds, and third place Hoverquads. Icon prizes are first place 400 Eyes, second place Centurions, and third place STVs. Aurora prizes are first place Freelancer Maxes, second place Sulans, and third place Cutter Ramblers. Heavy prizes are first place Starfarers, second place Spartans, and third place STVs. Thank you to all our sponsors, and good luck to all racers of the Crux Cup 2954.
Oh, 7 again, Star Citizens. Hope you enjoyed your break as much as I did mine. I don't know if you guys heard, but there was some news. But before we get to that news, I am Crunchy. That over there is Papa Juggernaut, and this is EchoBit. Hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic time. Hope you guys enjoyed the race that we just did for the Open GP qualifiers. But now we're going to be getting into the Pro GP qualifiers. But like I said before that, I want to talk about some news. If you haven't seen, they're testing 800 player servers on the tech preview right now.
That's too many players.
That's a lot of players. Say a few. That is quite a few. That is happening right now. That is happening right this second. So hopefully we'll find out a little bit about how that goes, over the course of the next day or so. But yeah, just a cool, interesting thing that you guys should know, because it's pretty dope and could be relevant for this kind of event going forward as well. Hey, maybe we'll have 800 people participating in the Pro GP qualifiers next year, right? We can handle that, Echo, right? Sure.
I would love to see that.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so like I said, we just... Yeah, exactly. Every single qualifiers at the same time, plus, the luxury at the same time. There'd definitely be some space. So like I said, we just had the Open GP qualifiers and we saw some absolutely fantastic racing. We saw some really, really awesome times that we're going to get to see next week. But like I said, right now we're about to get into the... I was about to call it the Speed GP, which honestly we should change it to. Change to the Speed GP. The Pro GP. This is where we're going to see some of the absolute best ship racers in Star Citizen get their game on. How you feeling, Papa?
I'm feeling fantastic. I'm so excited to be back with you. For everybody who was here just an hour ago, we were finishing up the Open GP where we saw an arrow get a sub 2 minute time. So when we talk about speed, as you said, there may be some promotions that are necessary because we've had some amazing speed in the Open GP class, but now it is all about the Pro GP, and this is a completely different set of ships, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them fly around the gold dust.
Yeah, exactly. Just like you mentioned, we had a, what was it, a 158?
158, yes.
158 second, thanks to Quelsa in the Arrow. What we're expecting here, though, in the Pro GP, now 3 different divisions, we're going to be seeing some Heralds today, and we're most likely going to be looking at some 1 minute 45 second laps.
Yeah.
So incredibly fast. These things are designed to essentially go in a straight line and do nothing else.
Right.
They don't really have any other gameplay than go in a straight line, but that makes them perfect for this kind of race. But in addition, we get to see a bunch of other racing ships get their little bit of limelight as well. One of the teams that I'm really excited to see today that we'll be talking about in a little bit is Playing Fox and Billboy, who last year absolutely crushed the competition in the AX2 division, and getting to see them once again come back, see what they can do as a team, is going to be really interesting. So, I mean, we might as well, I guess, before we head on to look at some players, let's have a look at the course map again, if this is your first time here at the Crux Cup.
Welcome to Gold Dust, a spaceship endurance racetrack set around Lawville City. The start and finish line of the track is located right next to the CBD arm of the Hurston Dynamics Tower at this rectangle building, with a giant holographic Geisen sign in the middle. Take a left out of the start line and go under the Hurston Dynamics Tower. Exit the Hurston Dynamics Tower on the right and head for the next hollow checkpoint building at the edge of the city. The next checkpoint is the tallest building in the distance. At the next checkpoint, you are looking for the hollow building among this group, that on the right. The next checkpoint is beyond and around this stack of buildings. This checkpoint is a sharp hairpin, so be careful and manage your G-forces. This completes the city circuit of Gold Dust at Lawville City. This track was made by Anza Racing for all Star citizens. Race together by visiting anzaracing.com.
Very cinematic track Gold Dust is. You get some really, really awesome views of Lawville 2.0, which is why if you're at home, why don't you go give it a shot. You don't have to be in the Crux Cup to do that racetrack, and maybe put some times up on SCR or something.
Yep.
Now let's get into it. Yeah.
Got to give a big thank you to Anzia Racing for designing the track, along with our very own co-host here, who is between, I don't know where she's between us, but welcome into Echo on behalf of Anzia Racing. Thank you so much for putting all this together.
That's alright, and 320 participants this Crux Cup.
Yep.
I'm so appreciative of everyone's support. Thank you for coming to support these races, and also watch these deserving participants.
Yeah, definitely. We have, like I said, we have the best racers in Star Citizen really participating in one of, or in some cases, multiple of these divisions this year with some of our competitors, which is going to be an interesting thing that we'll get into. Now,
Yes.
We've got a little bit of time while our competitors get ready. Showtime is in about 40 minutes, so let's meet a couple of the people that you guys are going to be watching race today and watching qualify, starting with the A Crux division, the fastest of the fastest division that we have in the Pro GP. All of these guys will be running Heralds, because like I said, it just goes real fast in a line. One thing I want to mention before we talk about each of these players is the requirements for qualifying today. And for the A Crux division, our competitors are going to need to do at least 8 laps And one of their laps that they complete today must be faster than 2 minutes 15 seconds. So that's what we're going to be looking out for in order for them to be able to actually race next weekend. When we do get to next weekend, they're just going to be looking at completing as many laps as possible. But that's sort of their goal today. Papa, why don't we talk about our first team?
All right, let's talk about our first team. It is on the screen that just closed for me. There we go. Our first team is representing the Turbor Corporation. They are, as you said, flying Drake Heralds. It is Fedicol and Riz E. Fedicol, we know, we didn't get information from Riz, but Fedicol is running a Hosos setup. How and when did you get into Star Wars Citizen? Tint and his tank drifting bull on Clio. You can say most of my career revolves around Clio nowadays. When it comes to claims to fame, I don't think we need to list everything that Fedicol has because we're going to be here for too long a time.
And I disagree. I think we're going to do exactly that. Look,
Here
we
we
got
go.
we got a little bit of extra time versus what we had last time.
You list them all.
You got it. So Fedicol been in the top 3 of SCR ground leaderboards for more than a year. Scored multiple podium races in races of last year and helped organize some of them too. Creator of the first community ground racetrack that has been added to Arena Commander, which I believe is Clio Islands, if I'm not mistaken. Now you can't say that hoverbike racing sucks. Ha 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 ha. To be fair, it's absolutely fantastic. It has been really, really enjoyable. Have you had a chance to do it at all, Papa?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I've gotten into Arena Commander for racing. That is where I prove on a regular basis my lack of skill. It is also where we see the incredible talent of the people who have created some of these tracks. It is amazing to see them in game, and I love it.
Yes, and if you want to do some gravel racing at home, it comes back essentially this time tomorrow. It got removed because it's part of the experimental modes for Arena Commander. It got removed for the last 2 weeks, but I do believe it comes back at about this time tomorrow. So you can get yourselves on those leaderboards.
Yep.
Let's move up next to Frontier Consolidated Racing, who we've already seen a bunch of today, which is awesome, including our previous race director. I sense cheating. We have Tint and Volta Epic. They're going to obviously be in the Heralds for the A-Crux here today. Tint started racing in the spring of 21, trying to become a better combat pilot, then got into trading times with an org mate and got hooked.
Very good stuff. First ship that Tint was flying was a Gladius. Volter was in a Razor, so 2 very fast ships. Obviously, the Razor built for racing, which is great. Claims to fame from Tint include 2953, so last year's A-Crux champion, last year's Scarlet Apex runner-up, and the Sim Cup AX2 winner for last year. So Tint had quite a successful 2953. Volter Epic maintained top 5 position on the SCR leaderboards for Herald Times on the Ahumahi Ring, Gold Dust, and the Aspire Run, which are the 3 main Herald tracks, and maintained that position for all of 321 and 322, at least up until the time of this writing.
Extremely impressive, and we've already seen Frontier Consolidated do a really good job so far in the previous races.
That's true, yeah.
Next up, a name that will be very familiar to anyone who has even remotely touched racing in Star Citizen is Splen of Team Splen. Definitely going to be a favorite to win pretty much any any ship race that he ends up joining. He's going to be here today in the A-Crux division. He started racing, interestingly enough, back in the Arena Commander only days. And we're talking years ago. You know, we only got Arena Commander racing back, like proper and like with all these new stuff, like last year. So way back, Splen was into it. So kind of an OG in the racing community. To this day, this is anecdotal from Splen, so you never know. He might be wrong. To this day, I am the only first place winner of all of the following. All CIG Invictus Week ship races, the Metro Loop Challenge and the Dunlo Derby. All SCR.GG Time Trial Masters ship division, and that's important because I beat him in the ground division. And all Anzia Scarlet Apex Turret division. So, I mean, if that was a resume, hired on the spot, right?
Right? I mean, that's where you get some of the real competition level of this Pro GP class. You see
Mhm.
this on display with all of these past wins for all of these people that have entered, especially here in the Crux class. This is where we are getting, as you said, fast in a straight line. So this is what this track is built for. Gold Dust is amazing with those straightaways. Um, so yeah, this is just evidence of the caliber of racing that we're going to be seeing in today's track. Let's move on to the Starjager Racing Team. It's Cat 740 and Energy but Energy. Again, also all heralds. I do love this though. First racing ships for both of them were an M50.
Love it.
Like,
Love it.
yeah,
I think like we were talking about it a little bit earlier in the previous race. The M50 and the Razor really actually feel like they are proper racing ships. It's only sort of more recently that we've been getting a bit more of that. And so yeah, great to see some of that big fatted race ship like representation. It really is back heavy, that one.
yeah, very true. And I do love to see for both of them as they listed their favorite ships. They speak to my heart. We've got an Origin 350R, which we talked about
Mhm.
during the Open GP, and then a Crusader C1. Nice to see the Spirit Series represented in the favorite ships.
Yeah.
Spirit Series is a great, and I can't wait to see the E1 come out live.
Yeah. Energy, a bit of an OG in the Crux Cup. Got second place in Crux Cup Open Class 2947, aka 7 years ago. So that's pretty damn impressive that we're still getting people that joined all those years ago. Got third place in the Daymar Rally 2 years ago with Pink Party Panthers. So very experienced in the racing scene.
We can also give credit to how long these players have been around. Cats was started in 2013, and Energy has been around since Alpha 2.5. So these are obviously racers that have a lot of experience with how to overcome bugs and glitches and everything else.
Yes. Next up, we have Ninjity, also from Starjager Racing Team, but they're going to be competing by themselves today. They're using joystick and mouse, which is one of the more interesting styles of gameplay. It is very uncommon, but every single person I've ever seen use joystick and mouse is absolutely cracked at it and scares me to no end. So there must be something about that that's really, really powerful. Ninjity started racing in Star Citizen back in 2946 on the Murray Cup racetracks to earn REC to rent better ships and Arena Commander. Really feel the idea of spaceship racing in general. It's a great feeling to fly in 6 Degrees of Freedom. Tried my best to compete against all the great races on the leaderboards since 2947, and now it's primarily a fun activity. On that, I do want to mention this may be one of the very last races before Master Modes comes out. So it's going to be a very different, like, just because they mentioned the 6 Degrees of Freedom, that made me think of that. It's going to be a very different environment we're going to wake up into in a couple months' time.
I would agree with that. Also about Ninjeti, wanted to talk about the fact that this is a dedicated racer. Their first racing ship was an M50. Their favorite ships to fly, the Fury LX, the Razor LX, and the 350R. So this is all about speed for Ninjeti. So looking forward to seeing them fly around this course and how quickly they can avoid the crashes so that they can get that podium placement.
Definitely. Next up, we have an org you never want to see anytime you're going into Arena Commander. From XGR Blue, we have Data Machine and Shaknu. Now, they didn't provide us any answers, but they don't really need to. Once again, two absolutely insane races with the career to boot. Shaknu, I always like to consider Splen's evil nemesis. They almost always end up in pretty much any race that they're in. They end up right next to each other within seconds. And it's kind of always, it's always a back and forth between them, especially when it comes down to like time trials. And Data Machine, across all types of racing, both on ground and in space, and in ships, is a memorable name. So great to see them popping up this year.
It does give us an opportunity, though, since they did not provide answers to the request form. Is there anything you would like to make up about them? Any stories you'd like to invent that we can start rumors about?
Well, I personally heard that Shaknu actually slashed the tires of Splen's Herald. Because it has tires, why not?
Yeah,
we'll see what
happens. I've heard the same thing. I understand that local police are investigating. We are waiting for law enforcement reports. But we hope that rumor isn't true. But Splend is probably going to have a backup.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's move on to next. We've got from White Lightning Solutions, we've got Stanislav Petrov. No information from them today, unfortunately, and not a name that I'm super familiar with. So today is the day for you to show me what you've got. Get your name stuck into my brain. You're in the Herald, so I imagine we're going to see some good performances from you.
Yeah, please do a great job representing White Lightning Solutions. Also want to give a quick update. We did get from our team. We've got Star Rise happening on Loreville in just under 1 hour, about 59 minutes away. And we do understand the grid is now in position. So ships are moving. We are progressing quickly, folks.
Very much so. And it looks like, so with that in mind, about halfway through the race, we should end up in sunlight. So that's going to be nice.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
The last of our heralds today is Dude 3D from Dude Racing. Great name once again. They also participated in the 2017 Crux Cup. However, they only just got back into racing in 2023 after a 4 to 5 year break. That's a story I've been hearing a lot of, especially once last year, CRG started to really support the racing community quite a bit, which was awesome. We genuinely thank you so much, CRG. It's made all of these events so much more fun.
Absolutely true. As you said, this is the last name in our Crux class here. So I am very saddened to say that, as we talked about in the Open GP class, there is only one racer who's even using something appropriate, getting close to a mouse and keyboard, and that is Ninjetti, who's got the joystick and mouse set up. But otherwise, all of these top-notch Crux racers are all racing with sticks. So we know that we're going to be getting some really tight turns and beautiful camera work.
Yep, definitely. Let's move on to AX2. Now, for all of our AX2 participants, in order to qualify today, they're going to have to get 7 laps minimum. And it's going to, one of the laps that they do complete will have to be 2 minutes and 30 seconds or better. Oh, sorry, better than 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yep.
That's what we're going to be looking for these guys. And our first team out of the gate is going to be from Project Ostara Independent Explorers, Numinos and Zolnar in the Razor LX.
We've already seen Zolnar in chat. We've already seen some cheering for Zolnar, so this is going to be a very spirited race, we think. Numinos has got a Hosas, started racing in Crux Cup 2952, so this will be their 3rd year potentially. Favorite ships to fly. I did like Numinos. Currently, the Sulin. Not much. Not enough.
I agree.
Love. I love the Sulin.
It's really cool. I think it gets a lot of flack for being a bit weird to fly because it's very, the whole takeoff way that it works is very different to every other ship. But I think it needs. a little bit more love. It's also way cheaper than I was ever expecting it to be, which is always a plus.
No, yeah, definitely a big fan. When I saw the Sulin the first time, and when I first got to experience it, I fell in love with that ship. I've got a loadout video on my YouTube channel for it. I've got a 8-hour sleep video with the Sulin. I think it's a great ship, and I love to see the recognition that it's getting here. So this is going to be a good entrance to the A2X class from Numinos and Zolnar. They are both racing the Razor LX.
Next up, moving off to the Star Citizens Layman's Guild with Riftwalker and John Stone. Both of these competitors will be in the P72. This is another one of my personal favorites. Usually I prefer the 52, but the 72 it's kind of just like fancier, really. That's definitely
that's the best part of it. Yes.
Exactly.
This is where the champagne gets to fall from the skies. But I was very excited because Riftwalker here on this team is a mouse and keyboard racer. So stoked to see that. Love seeing that happen. So Riftwalker, though, last year started racing in the race class ships in the time trials and has enjoyed it ever since. And we've talked about this. When you expose somebody to racing for the first time, they are going to fall in love with it because of the amazing capabilities inside this game. So I love seeing more of those stories where people say, tried it once and haven't left it since.
Yep. One of the best parts about all the information that they sent us, though, is they do mention Riftwalker's claim to fame is that they're a pro racer. Doesn't go into any more detail than that. No. But they're a pro racer, and I love to hear
just a claim. Yeah.
Just a claim. It is a claim.
Mic drop. Yeah, mic drop.
It also doesn't have to be a true claim either. It can just be a claim.
That's true. It doesn't say any honesty to fame. It's just claims. But I did like Riftwalker said, I plan on winning, but I hope to have a lot of fun along the way. And that's what we all need to do, folks. We're here to have a good time. So let's move on to our next team, which is Sanguis Luna. Welcome to Jacoden and Fresh 001, racing a Razor LX and a Kruger P52, as you just discussed.
Yeah, so two very different ships on this team. One quite a bit smaller than the other. Jacoden got into SC on September 23. I imagine that's 2023, not the 23rd, after seeing XGR racing events, which once again, another very common story here in the racing community of people coming through XGR with the other guys. You guys do an absolutely fantastic job. And has been grinding races ever since. Fresh, however, got in about a year ago. Saw a video from Black Maze, which is also related to XGR, where he and Osashas were doing a really close race, was hooked, and started getting into time trials.
Love it. Keep getting hooked on these things, folks. Honesty from Jacoden, though. Claims to fame? None.
Yet. Well, it's none yet. I feel like
that's true. It does say yet. Yes.
It's very intimidating yet. It's sort of a, after today, I'm going to have some.
That's right. We just got an update from Noise Maze. The race briefing is starting shortly, folks, so we are getting closer to race time. Make sure you are getting your friends in chat. Bring everybody that is going to be a race fan. Make sure you are cheering for your favorite teams, for your favorite racers, and absolutely don't forget to thank our support staff who is making today's race possible. You can do all of that in the Anzia Racing Twitch channel chat. Make sure you are doing it throughout the race and keep the hype going.
Let's move on to I Hope Racing with Mr. Drapener and Lord Utan, both using the Razor LX, both on HOSAS. Lord Utan has his community-owned racing league named the SCC Cup, which would be really interesting to look into. I haven't heard that one myself. So yeah, I'm going to have to... Send me a DM, Lord Utan. Send me a DM.
Yeah, exactly. This is a chance for people to show off what they've been working on in the verse and the various projects and the orgs that people have built. So I'm very happy about that. Favorite ships to fly. I love Mr. Drapener saying fast ones. Perfect. That's all we needed to know. And then Lord Utan, again, C1 Spirit. We've got another Spirit listed as a favorite ship to fly, along with a Carrack. Don't understand why that's on a list. And a Razor. Again, lots of fast ships here.
Yep. Mr. Drapener got the Ahamahi Ring AX2 second place. So very, very... This is your chance to prove that you can do it on not just the Ahamahi Ring, but over here at Gold Dust as well. And Lord Utan tells us he is a streamer on Twitch. Racing team leader as a little part of the org. I hope newcomer to Crux Cup. So make sure you guys go check out Lord Utan and, tell him to go fast.
That's right. Go fast. Do we have confirmation? Did Evolved AC make it? I don't know if they were able to make it. There was an IRL hesitation. I won't get into details, but I don't know if they were able to make it. If they are here, they are racing a Mirai Razor LX representing La Fédération de Camelot.
Yeah, hopefully we do get to see them, and if not, we hope a speedy recovery. Next up, we'll go to what, at the moment, is my team to win Crux 2, A-Crux 2, which is from BSR, Black Star Racing, Playing Fox and Billboy. After their absolutely insane performance last year, they're back. So they're going to be using the Razor LX. They won AX2 last year as a team, and it honestly didn't feel close. Their Playing Fox started getting into racing in summer of 22, thanks to Google and our very own Splen.
There we go. Another Splen recruit. I do want to point out this is a concierge, obviously favorite to win here. So we need to be careful. If we do see Billboy and Playing Fox up on the podium, everybody make sure you dropped exclamation rigged in the chat because we know how it happened. Let's move on to no one can stop me. Let's move on to Cloud Imperium Gamers. We've got Noble 737 and Lika running dual sticks. They will be flying. So Noble's going to be in the Origin M50 and Lika is going to be in the Kruger P52.
Yeah, so Noble and Lika, you guys have been absolutely awesome joining all of the races in the last couple of years. It's been really, really cool to see CRG actually compete in a bunch of these races. And until last week, it was really funny to watch you guys get absolutely destroyed. However, last week you guys redeemed yourself a little bit in our luxury GP. Nobble, with the help of Gerbo the Gnome, were able to win it with the 890J. So they're looking to make it a little bit of back-to-back. They've got to qualify today. They've got to bring it next week and see what they can do. They've been doing practice, I'm sure. They've been activating their God mode. Is it enough to make them as good as the pros? I guess we'll find out. Leaker first got into racing in Star Citizen. And the very first bit of racing I did was making the Dunlow Derby video, Star Citizen 2952 Dunlow Derby, but only properly got hooked in the run-up to 318 with the ISC and patch trailer footage we got for the community racing tracks being added.
Nice. Love to see that community content come together and really supporting things that are happening on the ground. So thank you very much for all of that was done. Let's talk about the Nova team, the Aluminum Falcons, or for you, the Aluminium Falcons. Represented by Black Rise 1 flying a Kruger P-72. Going to be flying around the Archimedes around there.
Yeah, once again, not a ton of well, we didn't get any information about this racer for today, but we're excited to see some more competitors in the A Crux 2, which genuinely is my favorite division of the pro class. So good luck with your P-72. You got a lot of competition.
Quick reminders for everybody in chat before we move on to the AX3 class. We do predict the rigging, but we don't do exclamation rigged until Croncy's rigging is confirmed. So gotta wait on the exclamation rigged until we know Croncy has done his job, and then you drop it later on.
Exactly.
So you guys are premature. I appreciate your practicing.
Exactly.
Good job.
No preempting rigging.
That's right. Yeah.
Next, we move on to AX3. The rules of the AX3 today for qualifiers are that they must complete a minimum of 6 laps, and one of their laps that they complete today must be better than 2 minutes and 45 seconds. So if you need a little bit of a cheat sheet for how people are qualifying today, essentially, A Crux is 8 laps, 2 minutes, 15 seconds, and then as you go down the divisions, minus a lap, add 15 seconds. That's what we're looking for today. Our first team in A Crux 3, or AX3, is Omega Aerosports with Smithy and Ace Nightmare. Both, I was about to say both running the Mustang Omega, but no, one Mustang Omega and one Mustang Gamma. Ace Nightmare is going to be using HOTAS, and Ace Nightmare got into Star Citizen Racing. They saw a video of Reddit of Smithy running the Hull A around the snake pit. As soon as it finished, I was like, oh, I could do it faster. And now they're in a team. So lovely.
Yeah. I get to make a quick correction. So despite what everybody believes, it's actually AC3. It is based on the game. So it is AC3, and AC3 is absolutely 100% honest when it says first racing ship, Hull A, favorite ship, Hull A. AC3 is Hull A all day. Absolute diehard on that ship, but I know both Smithy and AC3 through Omega Aerosports, and I'm very excited to see them race. So you're gonna go rig things for like really, I think you said in the A Crux class. I'm gonna be rigging things in the AX3 class for those two guys.
Fantastic. Next up, a great name, Team Banana Luna, with what I can only describe as a crowd favorite of Dunk running the Mustang Gamma, and another favorite to win today, another absolutely insane racer, Gerbo the Gnome. As I just mentioned a little bit earlier, coming straight off a win from the Luxury GP with Team Cloud Imperium as well. Dirk's going to be using HOSAS and pedals, which once again, if you watched our Open GP, a lot more pedals getting used today. They got into Star Citizen Racing because their friends said they were slow and couldn't beat him in a race. Well, I hope that story ends with you beating them in the race, because otherwise that's a very sad story.
Contrary to what my parents told me, peer pressure works. Smithy Joe Bob, I know you are in chat right now because I'm watching you type things. Do us a favor, drop in chat. What was your first racing ship in the verse, and what is your favorite ship to fly currently, racing or non-racing? We would love to know more about you because your name isn't on this form, and we should say hi.
Yep. And claims to fame for AC3. I'm pretty sure I still hold the Hull A record at the Snake Pit and Bajini Blitz. I'm going to check that for a little bit.
I believe he's correct.
If you don't, we're going to have to kick you from the event. You can't make claims.
No. Remember, these are just claims. He can say whatever he wants.
I also just realized I was talking about Duncan Gerbo. I don't know why I went back to talking about AC3, but that was still a very cool piece of information. But anyway, Banana Luna, we love you guys. We hope you do very, very well today. Let's move on to Sire Racing or Skyer Racing with Neojet and Logar Wilco. Not a ton of information about these guys. However, once again, if you have been a part of the racing community, you will know the name Neojet for sure. An absolutely outstanding racer in both ground and in ship racing. Hopefully, we're going to see them perform very well in the AX3 today.
Neo was also one of the ones that was flying an 890 around last weekend for the luxury GP class. Neo was moving those around. So again, beautiful things to see flying around the industrial city of Lorville 2.0. But Neo's going to be in an Omega and Logar is going to be in a Gamma, representing Sire Racing. So we know that we're expecting great things from that team right there.
Yep. Next up, we have Bounty Hunters Supreme with Indestinate running the Mustang Gamma and another mouse and keyboard controller player. I am convinced anyone who's able to do even anything remotely well with mouse and keyboard on a ship is the best person at the video game.
Okay, I'll agree with that. Yeah, good job.
Every person who's every person who I see do really, really well at the game with mouse and keyboard does everything well at the game of mouse and keyboard. You know what I'm saying? They're just cracked. When and how did you get into Star Citizen Racing? I didn't really. I just wanted to join a tournament. Lamau, it's fun. I agree. That's one of the biggest reasons to join this sort of stuff. It's just a good time, a cool, fun event. So, yeah, if that's you in chat, you should do that too.
And again, such a big fan of this. Favorite ships to fly right now, the C1 Spirit and also an Ares Inferno. You hear about the Ares getting mentioned a lot for favorite combat ship. They love the memeness of the gun, but you don't often hear about it just as a favorite, sort of daily driver flying ship. So very nice to see that represented as well, coming from the Ares line.
Yeah. Another org that we've seen a ton of over the course of the last 2 weeks is Turbo Corporation back again. This time we've got Cole Bosa in the Mustang Gamma. Once again, not a ton of information. However, Turbo Corporation, a huge org in the name of every single thing in Star Citizen. They're a big, big group. If you're looking for an org, definitely look for those guys. And good luck, Cole Bosa.
Absolutely. And up next, we've got another very famous racer and low flyer is from Tetraglyph. We've got Garden Crane racing in a Mustang Omega, also on mouse and keyboard, constantly impressing Croncy with doing amazing things with those simple controls.
It's just really impressive.
I think so too. What I hate is that you keep qualifying it. You want to see people do great things with the mouse and keyboard. Mm-hmm. That means you clearly don't watch my stream because I don't do great things. I just die. I crash. I can get murdered. I do wonderful things in the verse, but it's usually from the perspective of being a comic relief.
Well, don't worry. I've got some very expensive sticks, and I probably explode
you do this
amount of times.
That's right.
So, yeah, Garden Crane in the Mustang Gamma. When and how did you get into Star Citizen Racing? Well, Quelsar, Gerbo, Splen, Herbie, the guys. Now, luckily, you're not going to have to fight any of them because they're all in all of the... or actually, no, you are going to have to fight Gerbo. No. You are going to have to fight Gerbo today. Yeah, so... maybe someone who got you into Star Citizen is going to take you out of it too. Yep. But once again, these are the names that we've been saying all day because they're just that good.
Yeah. Up next, representing Ice Racing in a Mustang Omega, we've got He Ice. So lots of ice that I have to keep saying. Another mouse and keyboard player. And I love this. I was so excited when I saw this on the sheet. When and how did you get into racing in Star Citizen? February of 2024. So either this person's been racing for 950 years or they just started last month. Either way, we are very excited to see this. First racing ship was and probably still is an M50. So good luck to Ice on moving around this course and having a really great Crux Cup 2954.
Yeah, very excited to see someone only getting into the racing in Star Citizen in the last month and immediately go, you know what? I can take him.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Yeah,
this is going to be great.
We're going to, again, tell you guys about all of our awesome support crew that we're using today with all of our different industries, starting with our refuel crew. Unfortunately, refueling is a bit in the dumps at the moment, but these guys are always ready for whenever we need them, starting off with Sigelian and Bling from Altama Energy.
And up next, we've got La Fédération de Camelot. It is LFK, Elvivan, and Narvalo 357. Both of these, and then also Nova Pit Crew.
Yeah.
All three orgs are going to be handling refuel representation here today. If you are into the Star Fair, if you're into that refueling vibe here in Star Citizen, make sure you check out Altama Energy, La Fédération, and Nova Pit Crew.
Next up, sometimes when you're racing, you accidentally explode, or in the case of me, you always explode. So we've got some emergency medical services on board as well. We've got Chat Mello from La Fédération de Camelot. We also have from FRCN Rapid, Lord Nidor, and Hyador. Rounding it all out for our last medical professional that we have gotten today. And we swear that we definitely vetted them and made sure that they have their medical certificates. From
right.
Northfield Medical, we have Twidget TV. So thank you to all of our medical pilots being here today and making sure that, you know, our pilots can respawn or heal themselves where needed.
Yeah, this is just a great representation of the orgs that make this event possible. We appreciate their support because without all of these representations, A, the verse seems smaller, but B, we want to make sure that the race runs properly and we can get people what they need when they're not near a medbed.
Yeah. And since the introduction of salvage gameplay last year, we now have salvage debris crew. Starting off with Delta Blue Aerospace, we've got Checked Leak, Crystal Keys, and Sergeant Griff operating those absolutely fantastic looking salvage vehicles, those SRVs. Oh, hell, maybe they've even got some of them fancy vultures, who knows? But they're going to be there getting ready to remove all of those exploded ships. Luckily, no reclaimers now. No massive ships for them to salvage, but the occasional Herald's going to be there. In addition, we've also got from Nova Galactic, Whisper Dark, Ghosty, and Nova Rift.
Okay, great. And we are going to also give shout outs to the organizations that are providing security for this event. We cannot do events like this in Star Citizen without a great security team. So thank you very much to the Ragtag Mercs, Turbor Corporation, Vanguard, Nova Intergalactic, and White Lightning Solutions. All 5 orgs helping us stay safe this race. So thank you for what you do.
Now, because I gave a little bit of a shout out to Ragtag Mercs earlier, I now want to do the spiel for Turbor Corporation. Turbo Corporation is a multinational organization that unites people from several dozen countries around the world. By gathering and uniting the largest number of adult Russian-speaking players, you can find many new friends and one of the largest fleets to get the most out of Star Citizen.
Yep. We did get clarification on Stanislav from Prof. Decoy. Stanislav is not going to be racing. He is part of event security for today.
Okie dokie.
So now we have that cleared up.
Fantastic. Well, that's everyone that you are going to be seeing today participate in the Crux Cup. Now, one thing I want to do just before we even get started as our players are as they're lining up, as they're getting ready for formation laps, and we're probably going to show you another time as well, is I do just want to once again show you guys the prizes, because we were talking a little bit in between our break. I don't think you guys truly understand the stakes that are here for a lot of our competitors. So, Echo, if it's ready, let's run that one more time before the race starts.
Here are the racing prizes for the Crux Cup 2954. 2954 racing prizes are brought to you by Southern Cross Alliance, Frontier Consolidated, the Red Legion, Sire Imperium, and Cloud Imperium Games. IDMA Crux prizes include first place C2 Hercules, second place F7CM Heartseekers, and third place Cutter Ramblers. AX2 prizes are first place SRVs, second place Heralds, and third place Hoverquads. AX3 prizes are first place Mercury Star Runners, second place Heralds, and third place Hoverquads. Icon prizes are first place 400 Eyes, second place Centurions, and third place STVs. Aurora prizes are first place Freelancer Maxes, second place Sulans, and third place Cutter Ramblers. Heavy prizes are first place Starfarers, second place Spartans, and third place STVs. Thank you to all our sponsors, and good luck to all racers of the Crux Cup 2954.
And remember, these guys are not going to be competing for those prizes today. That's next week. Except for the Luxury GP and the other one that happened last week.
Delivery.
Thank you. I have not had a ton of sleep, if that's not obvious. But it's race time, so I have to stay awake. Because it's too much fun. I love this stuff.
That's right. We are ready to race. We are getting ready, as everybody on camera can see. And I do want to give a little bit of inside baseball, or for the rest of the world, inside cricket, I guess. When you see Croncy and I not on camera and when we're not on stream, all we're doing is just bopping our head to music. That's all we're doing in the background. So hopefully you guys are doing the same thing at home. I also want to recognize Captain Biscuit, who just came into chat for the very first time and was a racer in our Open GP class, racing a Hull C. Captain, you have my 07s and gratitude. Thank you for representing that ship and finding the only thing it has a use for right now. GG's to you.
All right. Now let's talk a little bit about the very specifics of what's going on today. If you haven't watched the Crux Cup before, or even the Scarlet Apex, or really a lot of the races that we do here, what we essentially say is you've got an hour to do as many laps as you possibly can. Now, today's qualifiers, so what we're actually looking for today specifically is how fast can you go? It's not necessarily about how many laps you can do, rather it's about the fastest lap time you can get. And then whoever qualifies will end up here next week to get as many laps in as they can. In addition, because we are very, very competitive here in the ProGP, everyone in the different divisions has to get an X amount of laps today and a certain amount of time. So the A Crux division, which is all of our heralds, they have to get at least a better than a 2 minute and 15 second lap, and they must complete at least 8 laps. Our AX2 division must complete 7 laps, and they have to get a better than 2 minute 30. And our AX3 must get 6 laps and a better than 2 minute 45. So a lot harder than what we just had a little bit earlier with the Open GP, but that also comes with a lot more competition, as you probably saw when we went through the racer profiles. The people here are not playing around. These guys have multiple championships. They compete in every race they possibly can. It's a hell of a thing. So yeah,
I think this is going to be the best opportunity, especially as you said, this may be the final racing series before Master Modes gets introduced. But for anybody who is looking for racing inspiration, you are going to find it right here at Anzia Racing on Twitch, and it is going to happen in the next 1 hour. We are really looking forward to this. This is going to be very exciting from the best racers in the verse.
Yeah. Now I'm going to make you do it again, Papa. I know you said you don't like playing favorites. Who's winning each division today? Who's getting the best lap time today? Because at least no one wins today. No one wins today. That's next week.
That's true.
Who's getting the best
That's true. Okay, so let me run through this. So for the A Crux class, we've got Fetical and Rizzy. We've got Tint and Valter, Splen, Cat 740 and Energy, Ninjetti, Data Machine and Shaq. Wow, that was great. And we've got Dude 3D. In terms of fastest lap times, I am going to break with tradition. I am going to go with Tint and Valter. I am look forward. I think Frontier is going to have a really great day. So I am looking forward to Tint pulling that off in the A Crux class. For AX2, man, this is.
It's so hard. There's so many good races, but that's
I know. But here's what I'm going to do: is I'm going to contradict you. I'm not going to vote for Playing Fox and Billboy. I am going to go with. This is purely just to be contradictory to you. I'm going to go with Zollner, and here's why. Zollner had already pulled somebody into chat just as we went live. They were already getting a cheering squad going, so that means that they've got the heart to win this. So good luck to Project Ostara Independent Explorers, represented by Zollner and Numinos. Good luck to you. I am predicting you pull out the fastest lap times for the AX2 class. AX3 class, I have no doubt in my mind. I am sorry, Gerbo. I love you and all. I'm going with AC3 and Smithy. Good luck to the Mustang team that is running from Omega Aerosports. I am predicting some very fast lap times from those great guys. So good luck to my buddies.
Yeah, I think all of those 100% very decent reasons for them to get the best laps and amazing races.
Yep.
And I am going to vote on some ones that you may not think. So
All right,
in
there we
A-Crux
go.
division right now, on SCR, for our world records, currently, Tint has the fastest time in a Herald. So you would think I'd say Tint.
I didn't even know that, but I still voted for Tint. Okay.
Yeah. You would think I would say Tint, though. You know, he's got the best lap. Splen hasn't submitted for 5 months.
Oh boy.
So I think, honestly, I think Splen might be hiding some stuff. At the moment on SER, he is 7 seconds slower than Tint. But like I said, that was 5 months ago. So very, very old. There's very likely been not just some improvement, but some changes to the game and whatnot. So I think Splen or Shaknu, purely just because they are so... even though they're in different teams, those two players are just so at each other's throats at every world record they ever can. Yep. I think one of the two of them are likely to get the fastest lap today. I do think all of them will qualify, though. For AX2, and we should also see a formation lap very, very soon, guys. For AX2, I think it'd be weird for me not to go for Playing Fox and Pillboy. They are just... They were unparalleled last year, and I wouldn't believe that they haven't spam practiced this track so much. I caught them in Arena Commander the second that the racing tracks came out on Arena Commander, the newer ones. I just kept ending up in lobbies with Billboy, and it was like the first day of the patch, and Billboy was like beating me at half my time. So I'm specifically going to say, out of Playing Fox and Billboy, I think Billboy is going to get the highest time in the AX2.
Okay.
Moving to the AX3.
Yep.
I love Neojet, and I think that is enough reason to think that Neojet is going to crush AX3. I've had a lot of experience racing Neojet in ground racing, not so much in ship racing. So it's kind of one of those things of like, I've seen you do awesome things. Now I want to see where that translates into ship stuff. So that's where I'm putting my stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so remember everybody in chat, we have Croncy's predictions now. So at the end of the race, remember exclamation rigged. We know how this works. Yep. So this is going to be concierge setups.
All right, so yeah, they're just about to start their formation lap. The AX3 are about to start hovering. So yeah, should be only a matter of time. And the good thing about the formation laps here is it'll be a lot faster than the heavy class was. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is going to be a whole collection of fast times. This is going to be a huge conglomeration of very tiny, very fast ships flying through checkpoints. And you got to remember, folks, one of the unique things about this particular track and these particular ground level, you know, we're down in cities here. We're not up in space, is that we are in tight turns. These are tight turns. You've got walls, you've got ceilings, you've got floors. This is going to make for some very exciting racing because you are going to do things at top speed, especially when those Drake Heralds get moving. And then they've got to slam the brakes on and make some 90 or sharper degree turns when they get to these checkpoints. So this is going to be a really good time. Get ready for some amazing racing from some very talented people. And you got to remember Drake Star Dragon over in chat. You got to remember the exclamation rigged is at the end. We have to wait. Otherwise, it's not really valid.
All right, we have been told the all classes formation lap has started.
Here we go.
So pretty damn soon, we're going to start having some times pop up in the top left there. Remember, they need to get either 8, 7, or 6 laps, and then better than 2:15, 2:30, 2:45 in order to qualify for next week, where the real stuff comes into it. So we'll talk a little bit today about the actual amount of laps that they complete. But that's more of a way just for us to sort of understand what we might end up seeing next week. It's really today about fastest lap time.
Yep. As we are about 1 hour into the broadcast so far, we've got these ships that are finally moving onto the track here. Just a quick reminder for everybody. I am Papa Juggernaut. I am joined today by Croncy. We've got Echo Bit, who is managing the entire live stream and coordinated this race. She is a presiding officer for Anzia Racing. And then our Discord moderator is Ravnak. So thank you to everybody who is joining us today. We appreciate you being in chat. We appreciate you supporting racing and Star Citizen.
Yeah, thank you very much to everyone. It's been, from my point of view, it's been an absolutely fantastic couple of years since the Crux Cup and other events that Anzia have come into have come back. So,
yep.
All
We
right.
are once again in
Yeah.
a nighttime racing mode. We are still in the dark, but we should get Star Rise soon. And like you said, about a half hour into the race, perhaps.
Yeah. We have been told apparently sunrise will be about half an hour from now. Now, Hurston's sunrise is not the brightest, so we may end up in a situation where we don't see a lot of stuff. But I'm sure by the end of the race, it'll be well and truly lit. And we have our first ship destroyed of the ProGP qualifiers, which is going to be Black Rise 1.
And I think Black Rise was AX3 class. I could be wrong about that. I need to scroll very, very promptly. Where are the racing profiles? Get over there.
Need that good old Control F.
Oh, maybe not. No, may have been AX2. Where did AX2?
Black Rise.
Sorry,
Black Rise.
AX2
Yes,
class.
AX2. Yeah, from Nova Aluminium Falcons.
There you go. Yeah. I saw that and I was like, wow, I'm not sure who typed this up. Maybe it wasn't maybe it wasn't Echo.
Yeah. Well, if it's a guesstimate at anything, our first lap time has been completed by Tint with a 1:56.964. Now remember, Tint's best time in a Herald is a 1:42.56, at least best recorded time. So
Right.
you know, you obviously end up with a slow start, but based on all of those other Heralds that came through, and Fresh 001's P52, which came in real fast, there's obviously a lot of time to be saved.
Absolutely. We do have to notice that Lika CIG just crashed at checkpoint 2. And now, if you remember from our Open GP race about an hour and a half ago, we were talking about crashes later in the event. This time we're on lap 1. We are still in lap 1 and we're getting these crashes. That is the risk that is just carried by everybody that's doing these races. You've got some close quarters here.
Yeah, it's bound to happen a lot of the time. So it's honestly probably okay. As long as you're crashing on the very first one, you've still got 57 minutes to get however many laps you need in. So should be plenty of time. And a lot of these laps are going to be between the 2 and 3 minutes for most of the classes, with the Heralds once they get going pushing that for quite a bit. So plenty of time. Hopefully they're able to get back quickly. It also, on the smaller pads, tends to be a little bit faster to get into your ship versus when we had the heavies exploding in the Open GP and then just taking a long time to get back into the rhythm of it. So, yeah, not too fast yet. But if we see another explosion, that's a bit scary.
No, but you talk about, I think you make a good point when it comes to how timing is going to be important here. This is lap number 1. We've still got 57 minutes to go here. And when you talk about the difference in timing, so for example, Tint just cleared lap number 2, just knocked off lap number 2, 1 minute 52 seconds, whereas
Never mind. As you were talking about that, we had 2 players get better than that. The best of those 3 was Data Machine with a 1:47.86.
Unbelievable. And right now, our Herald holding up the back of the pack is at 3:12. What's that?
So I'm going to get a confirmation. Apparently...
No. Wait.
Volta Epic got a 1:30.19, but...
Walter's lap 2 will be short. We got notified from staff. Walter's lap 2 will be a short time. So no, not a true 1:30. We have to... Everything's fine. Yeah. Kronzi's heart attack will be restored later. But again, you talk about time. Right now the last Herald is pulling a 3:12. The first Herald is pulling, sub 1:50. So there's a huge gap, but you can make these up in the laps. Your goal is to get sub 2:15 if you're a Crux, and you have to complete 8 laps. You got plenty of time. Yeah, keep grinding this.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of today, especially with once again, with the Pro GP, the competition is a lot tighter, so pole position matters a lot more as well, right? So
true.
In the other divisions where you're really trying to make up a couple of minutes over the course of the hour that you've got, these guys are trying to make up a minute or 2 total, and so any amount of time that they can save over the course of an hour is obviously going to be huge. Once again, today doesn't matter as much, but it gives you a bit of a clue as to how they're going to be racing next week.
Yeah, we've got the AX2 class. We've got a finisher here, second lap time coming from the P52 of Fresh. Fresh just cleared 1. As I speak, it gets better. Just cleared lap number 3 at 1:48. So really moving that P52 Merlin for Fresh. This is where these rivalries are going to start to come into play, folks. You've got people that have raced against each other head to head for a long time, and they are going to be fighting each other to get these completions. So this is a really exciting lap times. Looking at now, this is interesting. We've got Ninjetti at 133.
So that might also be a situation. Just looking, there was maybe an issue with the formation start. The grids have apparently gotten bunched up a bit. I don't know if that might be affecting some of the times. I would love a confirmation of that, because if we genuinely got a 133.1 in the Herald, that's insane. That's a world record.
I'm very curious, because that wasn't done on lap 1. That was achieved in their final, their most recent lap of lap 3. So did we really get, if staff could confirm that for us, we'd appreciate it. But are we looking at a 133? Time error for Ninjetti. Okay.
No one's breaking records here today. We're getting very excited, and then all of our dreams, our hopes and dreams are being shattered, unfortunately. Regardless, they're on lap 3. Almost everyone's on lap 3. Yeah. Everyone up to 17th place at the moment has completed 3 laps. So this is the difference between what we were watching an hour and a half ago and now.
Yeah, and especially for all of you watching live, you are checking out how quickly this leaderboard changes. You are watching names fly top to bottom. Yep. This is really exciting stuff here, and you're seeing different classes. You're seeing people that are integrating. This isn't all a Crux at the top, followed by 2, followed by 3. These are true integrations here. So this is a really exciting thing. Fresh currently sitting at 148, lap number 4, right up there with the Herald, piloted by Data Machine from XGR Blue.
Yeah, that P52 is doing quite a ton of work. Now, I'd love to see some of the stats, and it's definitely going to be a thing that I'm going to have to, look up this week just to make certain I've got all the information. I just want to know what the fuel difference between a Merlin and a Herald is, because while they aren't competing with each other, I would just love to see how many stops is the Merlin going to have to make. I imagine it's quite a few, possibly 2 or 3. Versus the Herald, which, it's a bit of a bulkier ship. I imagine it has more fuel. But yeah, that's some homework for Cruncy. One thing I did want to mention, because this is going to be something that our fabulous viewers are going to want to know, is that Team CIG, as long as they get 7 laps, just qualified for next week. So they just need to get 4 more laps. They've gotten their time. They got a sub 230. So we'll see what happens there. And we have invisible geometry striking. Tint is destroyed.
Yeah, that was rough. I was really appreciating.
Crash.
Vetical just exploded.
And Zollner.
Zollner was my choice. Quick recover.
Explosions all over. Well, that's all right, because remember, I said fastest lap times.
I'm making notes. I'm making notes. I'm writing them down.
So yeah, that's going to be very interesting. Tint, one of our better Heralds today already with a 150. So ahead of a lot of the pack here. Data Machine still ahead though with a 147 as his best time. And remember, some of the lap times are a little bit messy at the moment, but once we get towards the end of the day, and even if possible afterwards, once we do some verification, we'll make sure that we have all the correct times.
Wow, real quick completions for lap number 5 here, that Fresh and Data Machine within less than a second of each other completing lap 5 here. Still haven't beat their best lap times, but they are really, really close to each other. So congratulations to those two for running very fast initial laps.
Also, rip Jez for trying to make a joke there that says reports so nice we do them twice, and the reports started working properly again, so it only came up once. Fedicol also destroyed. Whatever's happening this lap is deadly. Not 100% sure. Maybe it's the invisible geometry. Maybe it's just the fact that there's now 12 wrecks on the track. Who knows?
And this is where our salvage teams are going to come into play. So we've got our salvage debris crew represented by Delta Blue Aerospace, along with Nova Intergalactic and... Oh, it's just those two? My bad. Just those two. So Delta Blue and Nova, thank you for cleaning up the tracks. Checked Leak 1, Crystal Keys and Sergeant Griff representing Delta Blue, along with Nova Intergalactic represented by Whisper Dark, Ghosty 2626, and Nova Rift.
Another explosion there, this time from Splen. One of the best races in the game. previously had completed 4 laps and had a 1:52.726 lap. So a very solid lap time. Hopefully he's able to come back pretty quickly and improve on that a little bit, because it looks like if you want to be in a solid position spot next week, you're going to be looking for that sub 150.
Yep. We are watching a 350R, I believe. That is 315. I don't know what it is, but thank you very much to Oleg for that camera work, for tracking that ship all the way through the Hurston Tower. Much appreciated. That looked great.
Lovely.
We just got an update from Noisemaze. There is a marker issue with NeoJet. The lap count should match the leaders for AX3 class. So keep that in mind, everybody. Beautiful overhead view.
Okay.
That is great overhead view right there. Love seeing that. Unlike the other races, you are seeing packs of things. You are seeing your leaders that are breaking away. You're seeing people moving at very fast speeds. This overhead is very much appreciated. Thank you to Raydell Demonheart for this camera view. This gives people a really good perspective on how quickly this race progresses, because some of these markers are jumping in order for the game to catch up.
Yep.
There goes Spectacle back in.
Yeah. Once again, just in like a way of understanding just the skill that we're seeing here. Pretty much, as long as everyone gets their lap restrictions for the qualification, pretty much everyone has qualified in their respective class, with the exception of just a few races. So I imagine that we're going to see almost all of these races here next week, which is awesome. I love that. I love that they've qualified that quickly for the most part. Like I said, they've still got to get their minimum laps.
Yeah.
But I love that they've been able to crush all of those times. I am really curious to find out, once we find out the exact times from, we had those couple of issues. I'm really curious to find out where we're going to end up at the end of the day, because it's going to require a little bit of viewer reviewing to make sure we've got the right times. But the times the times that seem to be accurate are super close. If we look at Dude 3D, Billboy, Rizzy, Energy, all of these guys are within a second of each other for their best laps. So super tight.
Yeah. In fact, Billboy just set a lap record for themselves at 152 on lap number 6. They just completed that. So, again, we talked about this with OpenGP. As people get comfortable with the track, as they, adjust to the racing styles and what everybody else is going to be doing, they're able to do these improvements and continually get more and more, I'll say aggressive, but let's go with competitive. So it's exciting for us as an audience to be watching this. And I love doing the commentary for it, because we're seeing skill on display.
Yeah. This is absolutely fantastic. Another explosion here from AC3 Nightmare has become a part of Checkpoint 2. So at least they know when they've passed Checkpoint 2 now.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll have their little body marker.
Yeah, they'll see their body markers. Sorry to see that for AC3. That is my buddy, and that was my prediction for the AX3 class. So Smithy, we'd love to see where Smithy is at, because I know they were racing. I gotta scroll. Where is Smithy on the list? There we go. Smithy is 5 laps in, 2 minutes 18 seconds. So they have also qualified for that AX3 class.
Yeah, as long as they get, because it's AX3, as long as they get one more lap, which I imagine they will, they should be fine.
Absolutely.
What I am genuinely impressed with so far in our first 15 minutes, it's still super early days, is how well the Merlins and the Razor Alexes have been doing. The speeds that they've been putting up have been comparable to the Heralds.
Yeah.
And it's always just kind of crazy to me anytime we see that, because you're in this entire extra class of your own, and you're competing with these people that are in essentially the fastest ship in the game.
Absolutely. And I think we've all been impressed with seeing Fresh pulling a P52 into first place, completing these laps so quickly, currently sitting at a fastest lap time from their most recent lap. Also, they're getting faster and faster. Of one just completed lap 8. Look at how close Fresh and Data Machine are. Every time one of them tricks the lap, the next one gets it. So lap number 7 for them was 146. So yeah, that P52 is flying at the Merlin speed, at the Herald speed.
Yep. We also had Splen explode once again, also part of Checkpoint 2. So we're getting a fun little extra checkpoint there, I guess, with a bunch of body markers. Hopefully our salvage is able to move everything out of the way, or at the very least, hopefully the explosions have become a part of the checkpoint in such a way that does not interrupt our other competitors.
True. I hope we don't see Splen go splat more often than we already have. So we've got to avoid these very, very, tight turns and collisions. But yeah, they're all, so far it looks like, from what I've seen, it looks like that these are all, that might have been a quick tap, I don't know. But it looks like these have all been collisions with buildings. I'm not seeing a lot of ship collisions.
Yeah, very unlikely. Like, we're not going to see like what we saw in the Open GP, where a Caterpillar, a Mole, and a Reclaimer almost had a 3-car pile up. The ships are just far smaller. So, yeah, I imagine we won't see many ship collisions. Also, in addition to that, as I said, like the skill gap appears to be so aggressive here in this ProGP. So, I imagine a lot of these races, well, first off, they're going to be very used to operating in a racing environment. But in addition, they're going to know when to, maybe take off the throttle a little bit.
Yeah, great close-up from Oleg there. Thank you very much for that camera angle. And appreciated Herbie in chat, Herbie53, taking credit for being that mole pilot that decided to try and skirt through 2 gigantic ships. You are lucky to stay alive, and we're glad you're still around to talk to us. But I do have to give credit to, you talk about the skill level of this. When I was first learning racing from Echo, who was my really in-depth teacher and got really deep on game settings and everything, when I was learning on Echo, she was teaching me on Gold Dust. And Omega Aerosports was practicing when we got there. It was pure coincidence. We ended up there. And she walked me through. She said, no, these people know what they're doing. They're going to fly above. Because we were in an MSR. We were MSR doing this. And she was talking about the skill level of these pilots and how she's like, nope, they have their rules. They're going to fly above us. They're going to make sure that we're never in the way, and they're never in the way of us. So it's absolutely what we're seeing here today. This is why we're going to avoid a lot of the ship collisions, not just because of size, but also because of the skill of the people in the pilot seat.
Yeah. A little bit of a development here on the racing leaderboard that I can tell. It looks like Dude 3D has gone up a little bit on the leaderboard. So he's now currently leading our laps total and lap time with the Crux division. I imagine the reason we're going to start seeing this a little bit more possibly is because we've either had a refuel or are about to have a refuel from these AX2 vehicles. This is going to be the thing that we're going to want to watch out for, everyone in chat. Is, the difference in the divisions can come from that a lot of the time. And speaking of Dude 3D, ran out of fuel. I timed that well.
I was going to say, you talked about the commentator curse, and you mentioned, and poof, it happens. But I do think it's great, as I take a look at the leaderboard here, we're looking at a top 10 list, and we've got Crux, AX2, Crux, AX2, AX2, Crux, Crux. That's the caliber of piloting that we're seeing. Is you're getting a mix of these classes and these ships, and as they all fly around together, it's really an elegant thing to watch. As we get closer to Starrise here, should be happening in about 15 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, shouldn't be too much longer now. Now, I am going to spout out a bunch of words so that all of you can know where these players are lap-wise and fastest lap. Starting with Dude 3D. In the Crux division, 9 laps, fast lap of 151.7. Fresh 001, who sounded a bit like a crowd favorite a little bit earlier. In the AX2 division, 9 laps with a 146.24. Incredibly fast. Data Machine in the Crux division, 9 laps, 147.86. Riz Turbo Corporation in the Crux division, 9 laps, 152. Billboy Black Star Racing, 9 laps, 152. Playing Fox, 9 laps, 150. So, a little bit of competition there as well. Mr. Dreipner, AX2, 9 laps, 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Energy, Crux Division, 8 laps, 152. Cat 740, Herald Division, Crux Division, I guess it is the Herald Division, 8 laps, 154. Yep. And then I'll stop at number 10, which people did just get pushed up. So I think Tint got pushed up. So Tint, 9 laps, 148.5, pushing up that Crux division a lot closer again. So that's where we are at the top 10. The other mention that I'll have is that currently our best AX3 pilot, at least in terms of laps completed, is Dunk with 8 laps completed, and their best lap was a 2:15.
Yep. Unfortunately, we just saw AC3 Nightmare just got nailed again. Had a couple of setbacks so far this race, so AC is going to be struggling. His teammate Smithy is currently 7 laps in. They're in
Mm-hmm.
the AX3 class and 217, so they have met their requirements. That team is going to be qualifying and moving forward.
I got so lightheaded from shouting out all of those names and numbers. I'm not going to do that again.
So the next lesson for Croncy is going to be breathing while speaking.
What? No, that sounds like a lie.
It probably is. I do want to take a quick moment while we have this gap. We've got everybody finishing lap 10 or approaching lap 11 here, so everybody's finishing there. I want to recognize Gentleman Jez, Commander Caliber, Prof Decoy, Noise, Oleg, Redel, Demon Heart. Who else are we looking at? I went too far. Sorry. Let me focus on the race teams for the race timers first. Gentleman Jez, Commander Calibar, Prof Decoy, and Noise Maze. Gentleman Jez is our race director, and then Calibar, Decoy, and Noise are our race timers. Thank you very much for keeping us honest and helping us while we apparently Croncy asphyxiates himself and keeps talking. We appreciate you feeding the information to us so that we know what to pass on to the crowd.
Yep. I'd also like to shout out another one of our security orgs that are helping today, Vanguard. Mankind shares an innermost trait, the desire to explore, to be the first to enter the void in an unprecedented arena with the cosmos. That is why we are here, Draco Hart. This is the spirit of Vanguard.
We've got an update. Dirk has just run out of fuel.
Yep.
And Gerbo has run out of fuel. So, you know, we talked about time management. We talked about fuel management. What are these folks going to do? So this is going to set them back. I think both have already qualified, so it's not really an issue at this point. They just they can rejoin. But, you know,
pretty much.
Fuel management is going to be a big deal.
It will next week for sure. This week, like I said, it's all about fastest lap times, you know, and it's all about just making sure you do get your qualification. So it's a lot less irrelevant today, but that is a good sign of where these players are going to have to refuel. That was 20-ish minutes, right, from the beginning of the race, which means they're going to have to refuel or explode twice over the course of next week in order to get their maximum laps. Now, we have obviously seen strategies before of, you know, sometimes it is much faster to just explode and run all the way over to the spaceport rather than refuel, but that's going to be a thing that they're going to have to figure out, especially as, you know, sometimes the refueling won't work, sometimes the spawning won't work. You know, you got to make those decisions. But yeah, that's what we're going to see. 20-ish minutes. We're going to see some refueling next year.
Yeah. And fans, don't forget, this is one of those things where we get to see how teams are learning. This is their practice runs. They get to see what is the competition like, what is the track like, how are we going to manage the timing, how are we going to manage the fueling, are we going to make that decision to run to the spaceport, or are we going to refuel our ships and try to save time that way? There's a whole lot that goes into team management. There's a whole lot that goes into race management. And that is what these teams are learning today. You know, there's that old racing adage that says crash more to crash less. Well, in this case, it's race more to win more. And you've got to get that practice in. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to have the experience for it. And you are seeing the best of the best right here on Anzia Racing.
Yep. So as best I can tell at the moment, we only have 2 players who technically haven't qualified yet. We have Black Rise, who has met the time requirements, but is still at 6 laps. They are in the AX2, so they have to complete 1 more lap in order for them to qualify. And AC3 Nightmare, who only has 3 laps completed, is in AX3, however, though, and so has also met the time requirements. So just about them completing some laps, and then they can go for some speed.
Yeah, exactly. So the time requirements are fine, and it's just a matter of, you know, utilizing the remaining 36 minutes for.
Also, sorry, I was wrong. There was one additional. Splen has not completed an 8th lap in the Crux division yet, but just needs to complete that 8th lap, and is completely fine then.
Yeah, and seems to be doing great on lap times. Just had the that initial, oopsie. So that's okay.
Initial oopsie.
Yeah, the initial oopsie. Currently looking at Fedicole's feed as we are coming up on Starrise here. We've got some daylight, ladies and gentlemen, but we do have all of our pilots, if you've all noticed, for the nighttime, because of the darkness at Loreville that isn't gold lit. They always want to know where the ground is. They always want to know what's ahead of them and behind them. So the pings have just been permanent. You're seeing blue streaks every single lap.
Yep. Now we are approaching the halfway mark. We're getting pretty close. We've got 34 minutes left. So I mean, I said I was going to make sure all of you guys knew it and put it into all of your faces. So why don't we take a very, very small break by showing you guys what all of our competitors will be competing for next week or have already competed for last weekend. True. With our little prize video. And we'll keep watching to see if there's any big updates, and we'll let you know once we come back.
54 racing prizes are brought to you by Southern Cross Alliance, Frontier Consolidated, The Red Legion, Sire Imperium, and Cloud Imperium Games. IDMA Crux prizes include first place C2 Hercules, second place F7CM Heartseekers, and third place Cutter Ramblers. AX2 prizes are first place SRVs, second place Heralds, and third place Hoverquads. AX3 prizes are first place Mercury Star Runners, second place Heralds, and third place Hoverquads. Icon prizes are first place 400 Eyes, second place Centurions, and third place STVs. Aurora prizes are first place Freelancer Maxes, second place Sulans, and third place Cutter Ramblers. Heavy prizes are first place Starfarers, second place Spartans, and third place STVs. Thank you to all our sponsors, and good luck to all racers of the Crux Cup 2954.
Lovely. Papa, I saw an update that you just put in the chat there. So yeah, AC3 has completed his fourth lap. Only 2 laps left to qualify. In a similar vein, Black Rise has completed their 7th lap, and they are in the AX2, so that will put them in qualification. They are all good. Splend still needs to get that last one in order to qualify, but other than that, that is everyone in. So awesome. Fantastic. Now it's just about lap times. Let's see who's got the fastest.
Yeah. And that's something that I noticed. I was taking a look at all these numbers while we were on the break and doing our head bobbing dancing. I was looking at all of these. Nobody has set a fastest lap time on their most recent 2 laps. So maybe we're seeing some comfort. Maybe we're seeing
wrong.
Who? What? Nuh-uh.
Dunk completed his fastest lap. 2 laps ago, but it was when you said it was their previous lap, going to a 2:15.172 in the AX3 as well, so quite fast. However, I do think that is it. Yeah. Everyone else, for the most part, actually no. Team CIG, Noble, their fastest lap time was 2:19.74, which was
1 lap ago.
Yeah, 1 lap ago. So
1 lap ago.
Yeah, we are seeing it. And okay,
it's
you just
been
said it, and now
by Dude.
everyone's smashing it. So Dude 3D just got his fastest lap. Once again, we will confirm that is true because that says 1:31.809
on their most recent lap. That seems intense. Yeah.
So we're going to double check that because once again, that would be a world record if it was the case.
Now, the great thing is that obviously if I speak something, it manifests into reality. I say nobody sets fastest lap times and then it happens. So the other thing we haven't seen is nobody has set a fastest lap time below 1:30. So if you guys could get on that, we'd appreciate it.
I don't think we're going to see that.
Like I spoke it.
But the world record is 1:42.06, and that's in a Fury LX, which isn't even in today. All right, you said it. You spoke it.
This is like Pharaoh. Is so let it be written, so let it be done. Let's just get things. Let's get some sub 130. So Dude 3D. Oh, there we go. Yeah. I was like, wait, somebody just. No, that's you. Never mind.
All right, there we go. Yeah. So Dude 3D's last lap was a 1:53.312. So that makes a lot more sense. Still incredibly fast. But they didn't cheat, essentially, to get a faster time, which is always good.
It looks like Fresh is still sitting on fastest lap time at 1:46.24. So Fresh is still crushing that in the P52. Also at the top of the leaderboard for laps completed, followed as always, almost as always, by Data Machine, representing XGR Blue in the Herald But we do have an AX2 division leading the race right now.
Yeah, that's very, very impressive. Once again, the crowd, when we first started the stream for the ProGP, the crowd were very scared of what Fresh might bring to the table. And we did see, I saw a couple of comments from a Billboy and Playing Fox about like, well, Fresh is competing today, so it's going to be a hard one.
Yeah.
That's the case. That is 100% the case. They're putting themselves in some great spots for next week. But I feel like at the moment, Fresh is locking up in AX2, that pole position.
Yeah, and credit to your rigged choices of Billboy and Playing Fox, currently sitting at numbers 3 and 4 for lap completions. Yep. It looks like there is a timing issue with Billboy, but we know that they are sitting in approximately 3rd place.
0 seconds? Oh my god!
What did I say there would be sub 130? Did I not speak that? That's all I'm saying. Just let me have my glory. But congratulations to Billboy and Playing Fox. They're having a great race so far. Yep. Tint was my selection. Tint is currently sitting at number 7 with a 148 fastest lap. They're doing pretty well.
Yeah,
their last lap was 149, so they're really probably closing some gaps here.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I believe there was an issue with Tint like quite a few laps ago. I don't exactly remember what it was, but just getting back into the sway of things. Clearly, only what is that? 0.7 of a second slower than their current fastest. So should be able to push the envelope.
Tint's doing a great job. And again, a reminder for everybody in chat, if you are here to cheer on a specific racer or a specific team, make sure you are cheering them on in chat. Make sure you're dropping their name, waving those flags and saying, good job, because these are putting on quite the display of skill for these pilots. We are watching, I love the close-ups, just these close-ups of these turns, breezing through the towers. You gotta love that kind of level of action. We're not getting this. Thank you very much, Oleg, for the camera work. Really, really nice stuff.
A confirmation now. Every single person who has started today has now qualified for next week. We're going to see assuming they are able to come next week, we're going to be seeing every single person. So Splen was able to complete his 8th lap. AC3 was able to complete his 6th lap, and they were already within the time constraints for best lap. So absolutely fantastic. It's going to be awesome to see all these guys, especially with how much competition we've got right now. Between 1st and 19th place is 6 laps of a difference. And that is so small when you're only doing, a minute and 45-second laps.
Yep. Also want to mention some of the racers we haven't talked a lot about today. We've got Rizzy, who has stayed sub 2 minutes on pretty much every lap so far. They and their Herald are obviously definitely qualified, representing Turbor Corporation. Black Rise, who had an initial, problem at the very start of the race. Black Rise is caught right up, finished 9 laps already. Energy, representing Starjäger Racing, also in a Herald. Still very much sub 2 minutes, doing a great job there in 24th place-ish, depending on where things end up. Lord Utan representing I Hope Racing, along with, where did their teammate go? Where's the other I Hope? Right up there. Mr. Drapner, racing in 12th position. We've got Lord Utan, just over 2 minutes, completed 9 laps so far in their Razor LX.
A big thing I want to point out as well is our Team CIG today. Lika CIG has gotten a 152 in a Merlin. In the AX2, that is incredibly fast. Now, we did obviously talk about how Fresh 001 was crushing it with the Merlin and is currently at our fastest lap time and comes back, I think I've got a visual error here, but definitely fastest lap today. The rest of the AX2 team is sitting at about the 150 or much slower. So Lika CIG having a 152 in the AX2. Dare I say Team CIG have a chance to podium AX2 this year? I think it's possible.
Again, chat, exclamation rigged in the chat when we see this happen. Anytime CIG wins anything, we have to make sure that we call them out for it.
Yep, we're going to have to make some Spectrum posts. We're going to have to make some YouTube videos.
Yes. Absolutely. We must keep the salty tears going. What else we got here? So Fresh back on top, perhaps. But I noticed that for Fresh's lap 16, just before the... Well, see, Data Machine last lap just set a record for themselves.
Yeah,
that's
with a
pretty impressive, yeah.
147.796. Once again, super, super fast in the Herald. A reminder, the current world record is a 142.06. So being able to, in a race environment, keep that close, especially when you've got to keep your fuel in mind, because the world record is just straight lap time, no one cares about fuel, is really impressive. So well done.
100%. We're also looking at, as you said, everybody has completed all of their necessary laps here. Splen's name has flown back up the charts. Yeah, Splen has really jumped back up, now completed 10 laps, fastest time of 1:48, and that was achieved on their most recent lap. So congratulations to Splen for moving back up the pack there. Dirk has completed 11 laps. Dirk also, their previous lap was their fastest. Yep.
Fedicol doing some spinning to win. I've heard that's very powerful. I don't know whether or not it just got them ahead, but they've regained control of the Herald. No one, does anyone feel a little sick? That was a lot of spinning.
Right. We just got a notification for Black Rise 1 dead at the line. So another, sad to see it. Some people are just getting plagued with way too many issues this particular qualifying race. Certainly Black Rise has already qualified, so that's a good thing, but Black Rise hitting another obstacle.
Yep.
Just a reminder for everybody in chat, don't forget, if you are looking to pick up your very own Crux Cup 2954 merch, all you've got to do is click a link for anziaracing.com/merch, which is... Oh, that was way too many of them, but click one of those. Yeah, Croncy just did it better. He actually pushed enter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spammed the C button, but you can pick up the NZR Racing merch for Crux Cup along with all of the other events and the org itself. Pick those up live on the website, and you can wear it next time. And unlike Ren, who said he wants to put the word heavy on it, if that's the case, just go get yourself a Sharpie and shut up.
So yeah, I think so far, we're approaching the 40-minute mark. I think so far the story of the qualifiers today is definitely how impressive Fresh has been in the AX2 division. Not just insane speeds, like their last lap time was a 1:51. Once again, in AX2, right? These are technically the slower vehicles. Of course, if you can push them faster, you can push them faster. But they are technically the slower vehicles. Just insane. So for sure, Fresh, I'm looking at you next week. This is going to be a really, really fun one. And then Data Machine absolutely crushing it in the A-Cross division. Now, in our thing here, we do have Cat 740 currently in the lead for the A-Cross division. I'm not sure what their actual fastest lap time is, so hopefully we can get a confirmation on that. But their last lap time was a 1:55, and that's where I think the majority of the A-Cross division is going to be for the majority of the race, right? You're going to have your much faster laps, but if you're hitting that 1:55 consistently, sweet, you'll be pretty good.
Yeah, and I think to touch on your point that you just made, this does show what the Merlin is capable of doing. Yeah. So you put it in the hands of a great pilot, and you're going to get some great performance out of it. Technically, it should not be as fast as the Herald, but here we go. Sitting atop the leaderboard for most of this race has been Fresh in that P52. So again, I said this at the beginning, and I think it's going to be true throughout this. And again, especially next week as we go through the championship races to finalize these podiums. If you are here to be inspired about racing, you are on the right channel. This is the place you want to be. You are seeing the best of the best fly around gold dust in the city of Lorville. And we're seeing some incredible times from some very capable pilots as they pilot some very, very challenging ships.
Yep. Now, to keep talking about a little bit of stuff for all of those people that are helping us, another security team that has been helping us over the course of this event, Nova Intergalactic. If you want to join them, the future is in your hands. Nova offers you the possibility to do what you enjoy the most, from exploring the galaxy to fighting bad guys. All of this with the support and protection of an organization.
Thank you, Nova Intergalactic, for keeping these racers safe. As everybody has noticed, we have not had a pirate problem because we've got incredible security. The city of Lorville is...
Why would you jinx it, Papa? Why would you jinx it?
You mentioned security. This is your third org. We're fine. Fourth org. Fourth org.
No, they do an absolutely fantastic job.
I love watching them they're skimming the sides of these buildings as they fly through the towers. It is just, like I said, the talent that is on display for us, what we are able to see in these races is really that is a lot of updates.
Yep.
Then Jetty dead, Fedical, twirling.
That's what we saw earlier, yep.
Gentleman Jez is now debris on the course somewhere from the race director. So it's getting messy out there, folks.
It is, yeah. No, I do really like what race directors do. It's genuinely really good, where they are able to say, all right, hey, everyone, someone has crashed at like this location. Take it maybe a little bit slower or take it a little bit safer as you come around, because we don't want that to become such a massive pileup that no one can interact with it.
Yeah, absolutely true. Commander Tenna gives us wonderful advice. We should hydrate so that we can quench our thirst.
My drink is empty.
Yeah.
I drank my drink.
I bring like a 34-ounce charity mug here, so.
See, that would have been a good idea. I should have done something
Yeah,
like that.
the very first fundraiser
Yep.
fundraiser I ever did on stream was for the Wounded Warrior Project here in the States. It's a military support org, and I still use their thermos 2.5 years later.
Fair enough.
But thank you, Tenna, for the reminder. We are going to make sure that we stay hydrated, and Kronzi is going to remind himself to breathe as he speaks. No, okay, never mind. We're gonna need one of the med orgs. We're gonna need one of the med orgs to head over to Kronzi's studio.
Yeah, thank you to the med orgs for assisting us with actual intravenous drips, so that we don't need to hydrate and we're just constantly okay.
That's true. You get the green Crux at the top of that line, and it just feeds right into your bloodstream.
Exactly. Let's look at a couple of crowd favorites at the moment as well. So Tint at the moment, 17 laps completed with a best lap time just now. Well, I didn't mean to do it just now, but essentially just now, or their last lap, with a 1:46.801, which is very, very close to our best lap time of the day, and very possibly actually is our best A Crux, because currently our best lap time is from Fresh in AX2. So huge performance from Tint there. That's absolutely awesome.
But
another one.
Let's give credit. Let's give credit to the one that right behind him in terms of lap times is Data Machine XGR Blue 147.7. So less than a 1 second difference.
Yeah, exactly. Another one that once again I want to keep updating you guys on Team CIG, because they've definitely upped their chops since last year. Leica CIG currently with 14 laps completed. I can't see their best lap, but it looks like their previous lap they probably had to refuel, as they were at a 5:56, so they're in about their midway. And the other CIG member, Mr. Noble 737, 11 laps completed with their best lap being a 2:19.74. And remember, those guys are in the AX2 division.
Yes, AX2 division. Another great overhead view from Raydell Demon Heart. We've got obviously a lot of activity on the course here. It does look like, I mean, yeah, they're jumping around. People are still flying. We do have some folks. It looks like we maybe have a couple of refueling.
Yeah, very likely.
I see cats refueling.
Cats refueling, fantastic. Like we said, I mean, like when we saw our first refuelers, well, we didn't see our first refuelers, but we saw a lot of explosions when people ran out of fuel the first time. It was around the 20-minute mark. We're just past the 40-minute mark now, so it makes a lot of sense. This is going to be the last sprint for a lot of those vehicles. No more refueling, just go as hard as you possibly can.
Yep. Congratulations to Gerbo the Gnome, who just completed lap 11, and that was their fastest lap time at 2:15. So congratulations on picking up your speed. The other thing I'm noticing is that we're getting a lot of the folks that had initial struggles. They're starting to close the gap on lap completions. Now even AC3 and Lord Utan are both done with 9 laps. AC3 fastest lap time was the previous lap. So we're not seeing the folks that are still sitting at 2, 3, 4, 5. They're moving their way up, and everybody's getting their flow now.
Yeah, you're gonna see that happen a lot more in the ProGP, because it's just easier to catch up on. Like if you explode, it's going to cost you maybe 3 or 4 laps, depending on how long it takes you to, get your new vehicle out, or even if you're refueling, how long it takes to do that. When you're doing that in the heavy division, the amount of time it takes to do that may be equal to like half a lap. You know what I mean? So any mistakes that anyone in front of these guys makes is huge for them, because it's going to be really easy for them to get 2 or 3 laps closer to them in that amount of time.
Especially when we're looking at lap times, like I called out AC3 earlier, 2.5 minutes. Lord Utan just 2:09. So yeah, like you said, they're going to be able to really move these things along for anybody else who does something that involves a pause.
Yes. This this has been absolutely fantastic. So we're already on 20 laps completed for a couple of our players here in the Crux and the AX2. So Billboy, Cats, Data Machine, and Fresh. We have another ship destroyed, but it's no one.
No. Yep.
Oh, whoa! Here we go. There we go. I think everything just resets as we tried to redo everything.
The queue just launched itself.
Yep. So that's okay. It's probably going to go through this really quickly, so don't worry about it too much. Yeah, there we go. It all ended up collapsing. So that's all going to get updated in a second. Don't worry too much, guys. And on those times that you see on screen, those 0-second ones, that is just us re-correcting some issues that we had earlier. So we will make sure that we have our fastest lap times for you guys so that everyone can know where they're going to be sitting next week.
Yeah, and the good thing is, again, because these are qualifiers, we're not talking about championship races here. We know for a fact that every single racer has already qualified for those championships, which are happening live next weekend right here on twitch.tv/Anzia Racing. You are going to be able to watch these exact same racers fly through this with the highest level of aggression and competition. Truly going to be some exciting stuff going on. But times, whatever the times are, we know that these folks are returning next weekend, and we're excited to see it.
Indeed. I have some slightly bad news. Hopefully it doesn't extend. Our race director has 30K'd.
Oh no.
Oh no. It looks like we're going to be getting a red flag in a second here. Oh, wow. As far as I remember, all the ones I've commentated, this actually hasn't happened. We've been very lucky over the last couple of years for our individual races where we haven't had too many issues with server performance or any like super major bugs or anything like that. So we'll get some updates on what's going to happen here, guys. Like we said, we already know that everyone has qualified at the very least. And we are very, very close to the end of the race. So I wouldn't be surprised if we go with the laps that we already have. I don't know. That's all going to get taken care of behind us. Myself and Papa are just here to look pretty.
Well, congratulations. At least you have succeeded in our goal. So
that was
folks,
sad and happy.
And happy. We are just about 12 minutes away from nearing completion here. We're going to be getting our white flag in about 12 minutes. We've got 21 laps completed now for some of our racers here, and it looks like Lord Uton is going to be closing out lap 10, so everybody's going to be in the double digits, but it does look like we're still getting... Yes, the timer is officially dead.
Yeah, the timer is dead. The races are still on the field, which I'm kind of surprised that it's working. It must not have been a full 30K. It must have just been, one of those localized one where your internet kicks out for a second or whatnot. I'm hoping we'll get some more information in a sec.
We kind of have a red flag on the race itself because the software seems to be struggling. We know we've had some server issues. None
of the timers have been working for the last couple of minutes, it seems.
Yep. So just for everybody in chat, you are going to be seeing more of these zeros popping up for times. We do know that people are completing laps. We're not seeing a ton of crashes at this point, at least from our camera angle, so that's okay.
Looks like we're going to be getting confirmation from the race director in a second exactly what's happening. But I do want to say it was a very, very impressive 40-ish minutes that we got to see of the ProGP so far. We had some insane times. And I am genuinely scared of these AX2 participants.
Yeah, I think the AX2 has had a great representation so far from Billboy, from Fresh, Playing Fox. So your preferred team, Rigged, Billboy and Playing Fox. They've really shown a tremendous amount of skill here in the AX2 class. To say nothing, of course, of the one and only Fresh, who has been racing a Merlin to top the leaderboard and just flying around this course at speeds not seen since a Herald. So really, really well done.
All right, we have confirmation. We're going to be getting the checkered flag, and we're going to be closing the race because the timer is very dead. But like I said, it is not the end of the world. Everyone was able to qualify today. We're obviously going to get confirmations on all the timers, as we had some issues at the start there, and things may be a little bit different than we were watching over the course of the day. What's your takeaway, Papa?
again, my takeaway from this is the same as it is now as it was in the beginning. I am so impressed with what we have witnessed on today's streams. Starting with the Open GP class, we have seen an amazing amount of skill put on display here for everybody that's watching live on Twitch, and is certainly going to be watching the VODs on YouTube. This has been some incredible stuff. We've got Lika in chat right now from CIG, finally able to join in with some 07s. We're seeing people drop now. So everybody had a good time, and my takeaway is next weekend is going to be amazing, and I'm looking forward to it.
It is. Now, fortunately, I'm not going to be here for next weekend, which I'm very, very sad about. I love the Crux Cup. I'm going to try to watch it as much as I possibly can, but I believe you will be here, Papa, yes?
I will be here commentating alongside the one and only Henkin SC, who will not be playing Legos during the race. He will be doing commentary. We're going to be having a good time with that. It's going to be me and Henkin SC. So make sure you tune in back here at Anzio Racing. It's going to be fun.
What a throwback. I did my first commentary with the Crux Cup was with Henkin.
Ah, yes.
So many years ago.
So many years ago. It's okay.
It was like 2 years ago.
No, was it really just 2?
I believe so. Echo, when did you bring the Crux Cup back? Was it 2021 or 2022?
Arena Commander Private Lobbies died in 2019, and then I worked on Persistent Universe races for 3 years, and we brought it back in 2022 when Crusader had just come out with Horizon, and it just came together. Yeah, so there you go, 2022. So I've only been doing it for that long, which is kind of crazy, but it's been awesome to be a part of. Now, like I said, we'll try to make sure we get the right results. I imagine, Echo, that we don't have the proper results ready for today. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yep, no results screen, but we will compile that. We have all the data intact, so we can confirm everyone has qualified today. We will get your race times post the race.
Awesome. That's fantastic to hear. Well, then in that case, that's going to be it from all of us. Go ahead.
Before we depart, I want to give a quick shout out to all of the organizations that supported us, certainly above and beyond Anzio Racing, which hosted today's event. But thank you very much to our Refuel Squad, which was represented by Altama Energy, La Federación de Camelot, 7 Jesus, 7 sevens. I'm going to learn how to speak. Our EMS teams, La Federación de Camelot, FRC and Rapid, and Northfield Medical. Our salvage team, Delta Blue Aerospace and Nova Intergalactic. Our security put forward by Ragtag Mercs. That says Sharkbee, but I don't think that is correct today. Nova Intergalactic, Vanguard. It has been a wonderful race. I appreciate everybody having a good time here. Thank you to those who supported. And a big thanks to our very own co-host, Echo, for putting all of this together, serving as the presiding officer for Anzio Racing. Thank you for what you do.
Yeah, 100%. I echo all of those sentiments. And especially thank you very much, Papa Juggernaut, for joining the team recently and helping us commentate all of these awesome events. I hope you have a fantastic time next week with Henkin and watching some of my favorite races compete for the championships. I want to thank all of the viewers who came and watched Anzio Racing, and I want all of you to shout at EchoBit to make sure that we get more events, and then EchoBit will have to make more events, and then I'll be really happy. And if we do end up,
let's go.
Exactly. And when we do end up getting that little subscribe button under Anzio Racing, we would really appreciate any support there so that we can get some extra prizes. I mean, the prizes are already insane for these events. Let's make them crazier. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
EchoBit, anything you'd like to say?
Thank you, Crunchy, Papa Juggernaut, for coming here and making this possible. I love you both very much. It's so great to have you commentating and covering these events. Looking forward to the future, and thank you to all 320 participants of the Crux Cup this year. We really appreciate all of your support, your racing, and all the viewers that came today. It is so much better because you are here.
Couldn't have said it better myself. From myself, Papa Juggernaut, EchoBit, and everyone here at Anzio Racing, see you guys next week. Have a good one.